Hey everyone, this is John from YoungPatriots.com. I wanted to speak today about politicians. Politicians in Washington have become so emboldened with power, so brazen, that they now openly admit they don't care about the American people, if you know where to look. And I have two examples I want to discuss with you today. The first is the word legacy. More and more people are talking about politicians' legacy. It started at the start of this year when they spoke about Barack Obama when he won a second term. We heard from people on the left that said Barack Obama is very conscious of his legacy and that he'll move to the centre. We also heard that he was worried about his place in history and that he'd reach across the aisle because the last thing he wanted to be remembered for was a bad economy. But it's now spreading to the Republican Party. You now hear that Marco Rubio's legacy will be forever connected to the success or failure of a comprehensive immigration reform. Just park that point for 1 minute. The second example is over battles you can and cannot win. I'm talking about Obamacare, and I'm talking about shutting down the government, I'm talking about continuing resolutions. It seems that the Republican Party now listens to a handful, if not one or two, strategists or know-it-alls or masterminds on what battles they can and cannot win, which battles are politically good for the party and which political battles are bad for the party. Let's focus on Obamacare for a minute. Obamacare is a disaster. Howard Dean has admitted Sarah Palin was right. There are death panels in Obamacare. Depending on what poll you want to use, between 60 and 80% of the American people want it defunded or delayed. The head of the IRS has publicly stated he doesn't want it for himself. Congress doesn't even want it for themselves. They want special exemptions. Even Frank Hoffa Jr., the union boss, said, "You need to change this." Despite all those calls, Republicans said, "No, this is not a battle you can win. We need to fight it down the road." On shutting down the government, they fear that Republicans will lose seats if they shut down the government. Really? If you're right, you're right. If you're wrong, you're wrong. On Benghazi, John Boehner, despite Frank Wolf and 2/3 of his party, won't issue a special committee on Benghazi because he feels it's not an issue worth exploring. Now put those two issues together. Do you elect politicians with the worry of, I wonder what he's going to be remembered for? Do you worry about his legacy? This goes for both parties, by the way. This is not a Republican or a Democrat issue. When you vote your Republican in, do you want them fighting for you? Or do you want them fighting to make sure they win the next election? The answer is simple. For those people worried about their legacy, worrying about winning future elections, the answer is do the right thing. Defend and uphold the Constitution. Defend and protect the American people. Defend and protect their liberties, and the American people will stand by you. It's that simple. And if for whatever reason they don't, it's not the American people's problem, it's your problem, because you clearly have not explained the issues correctly, or have dealt with the talking points from the opposite side. The simple message to Washington for the 2014 elections are, we don't care about your legacy. We don't care about what issues you feel is best for the party. We only care what's best for America. You either feel the same way or you get voted out of office. It's that simple. Thank you for your continued support of YoungPatriots.com, and God bless.